Welcome to the first edition of Diane's Kitchen. This is a non-cooking show. It's Diane's Kitchen because we are sitting in a kitchen talking to people. This week's guest is Amy Greenfield. You might know her from Greenfield Physical Therapy in Spooner. You might know her from the rodeo parade. You might know her from the block party. So, Amy, welcome.
Thank you, Diane.
Your family has been involved with the rodeo parade how long?
Ever since it began, which was approximately 64 years ago.
Were they instrumental in starting it, or how did they get involved?
My understanding of the story is my paternal grandfather, Jim Sundin, was involved with volunteering with the rodeo upon its start, which was 66 years ago. And they wanted to promote the rodeo. So they wanted to promote the rodeo by starting a parade. And my grandpa said that he would more or less spearhead that. And it began more or less just with horses going down River Street to promote the parade. It evolved over the years then into having marching bands, businesses, floats, royalties, et cetera, et cetera. During that time, I after speaking with my dad, he started lining the parade up when he was 10 years old.
Oh my.
Along with my uncles. So
I bet that could have been hysterically funny.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
A 10-year-old?
Yeah. So, and obviously the parade was much smaller then. I imagine it was maybe, 10 to 20 units and what have you. Now it's up to 110 and has been for a long time. So it's definitely been a family tradition that many of our family comes back for to line up. And nobody knows that or sees that because they're all down by, I think it's Summit Street, down by Sam Hicks. But more or less, everybody's assigned to a block. And it's so instrumental in clockwork with how that parade gets lined up and started. And each year it just continues to grow a little bit more.
Okay, what do you mean by everybody is assigned to a block?
Well, my uncles and my father and some cousins each have a different block of the street. So all of the parade entries go to them in the morning and we tell them where they're going to be so that the parade goes as it should from the standpoint of our lineup. So my grandfather was in charge of it for 20 years. And then my father took it over for 20. And then my uncle took it over for 20. And, at that time, everything was going through snail mail or phone calls for the lineup. And I do remember as a kid, that was very annoying. My grandmother passed away on Rodeo Parade Day about 6 years ago. And which was very poetic because we had a parade for Grandma.
Oh.
And that day I was in the marching band and I saw our high school band come through and it was quite small. And when I was in school, it was huge. It was fun.
Spooner.
And it was Spooner. And we were very proud. We traveled, we competed. It was just the thing to do. And our band was much smaller at that time. So, 35, 40 members. And I looked over to my mother and said, I bet I could start an alumni band that would be bigger than this and might inspire kids to want to be in band. So the following year, I did just that, and we were able to get 50 years of Spooner graduates together from 1964 to, I guess it'd be 2014 or 15 that year.
And these people are still playing their instruments?
They weren't.
Uh-oh.
So
surprise.
Yeah, so the excuses of I haven't picked an instrument up for 30 plus years, it didn't matter. The thing that I think
play loud.
Well, the thing that carried us was Joe Fitzgerald, who was our band director. I had contacted him too, and he was very excited about it. And nobody wanted to let Mr. Fitz down. And so I very much remember our first practice, which we only practiced together for 1 hour before the parade, the night before.
Goodness.
And when he asked us to play the Spooner School song, he had tears rolling down his cheeks because it sounded like the Spooner School song, which meant everybody practiced because he hadn't done anything at that point.
Can you just see these people picking out or finding an instrument and playing it at home and, their wife is going, Harold.
Oh, gosh. I know. Exactly. And that's exactly what it was listening to these stories and, reconnecting people. So, when I first put the push out there, because Joe said, do you think we can get a band together? And I said, let me see what I can do. And Facebook was very instrumental in that. So I was able to put a little plug out there. And within, I kid you not, 10 minutes.
Oh, wow.
We had people flying in from California, Arizona, Washington, up from Texas, Virginia. People, they wanted to be a part of this. They said, this is incredible.
Why do you think that?
Because of Mr. Fitzgerald and because band was so important to so many of us and the parade and knowing the importance of the rodeo parade to the community. A lot of
So
pride.
one man
Yeah,
garnered that amount of devotion.
very much.
Wow, that says
Yeah.
a lot. I think that's one of the biggest compliments anybody could get. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
coming from California, picking up an instrument
Yeah,
they haven't played since forever.
exactly.
Aw,
So yes, it was an absolute blast.
I imagine it
To
was.
And I
see
bet
all
a
these
lot of
people.
sore lips because I remember playing trombone when I was in school and first started playing. It's
Oh
why
yeah,
did my lips feel so weird? So after
exactly.
playing for that whole thing, I
Yeah.
bet
Yeah, the brass definitely needed to practice more. Some of them were whining. I'm like, you did not buzz enough. You needed to practice your buzzing. But yeah, so our first year, we brought back one of Mr. Fitz's student teachers, and he knew he was coming, but he also didn't know that we had a surprise for him. So I had asked my
Surprise.
uncle Mark, who was in charge of the parade that year, if I could stop the parade, and he goes, "For how long?" I'm like, 4 minutes. I said, "It won't take long." So we stopped the parade. Band directors think they're in charge, and I said, "Once you get started with that parade, you're not in charge. Us drummers are in charge."
Oh,
So we, brought the parade to a halt right at the announcer stand and honored him and gave him a plaque and played a song for him that
aw.
I want to say he loved, but he loathed. But
Did you-
that's why we did it.
I was going to
Yeah,
say,
yeah,
you knew that
yeah.
beforehand. I know what
Yeah.
song we'll play.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a lot of fun. But anyway, after that parade, my Uncle Mark said, "Amy, you should really take the parade over." And I said, "Absolutely not."
And how long ago was that?
4 years ago. 4 years ago.
And you did.
5 years ago. Yeah, because in my next thought, it was, could I bring the Wisconsin Badger Marching Band here?
Of
Because
course.
I have a connection. So I reached out to them. And that's how it kind of, this block party piece all started was I did have a connection to reach out to the Wisconsin Badger Marching Band. And prior to that, talked to business owners and said, if I could bring members of the Wisconsin Badger Marching Band here, would you help pay for it?
Right.
Because, we had to pay per kid. Obviously, that's a 300 member band.
Mm.
To have a parade band, you
Wow.
had to have at least 40. And, so you start to add that up.
Is that
Wow.
40 people? Is that a prerequisite for every? I mean, who sets that?
Well-
you have to have 40.
Well, I asked them, what do you need for a good parade sound?
Oh, sure.
40.
They said about 40.
Okay.
So, because you don't want to just have
3 people.
members. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Doesn't
want to
really cut it.
a little bit of power, coming through. So they said 40, and I budgeted for 40 based on the pricing they
Sure.
gave me. So, but the Badgers, just like they do at Camp Randall, they do a fifth quarter. And so they said, we will do a fifth quarter for you. I'm like, we have to have a location for that.
Sure.
So thus the parking lot across from the Civic Center, we fenced it in and worked with Chief Chrisman to find out how can I have the least amount of trouble and make this a family-oriented event. So he said, make it as big as you can so that family can come in as far as having, beer and food and et cetera, et cetera. Let the kids be amongst the adults. So that's kind of how it began. It was the Badger Band came in the next year. I was then in charge of the parade, but with my right hand, Amy Freeman, she developed a website for us. So we took away snail mail and phone calls and developed
Excellent.
online registrations, and that has made this whole process much easier.
Exactly. And it's those people that have the power behind the throne
Right.
that lets the person in charge do a really good job.
Yes, and it took away, a lot of the nuisance questions because, we had the website then that could
Sure.
answer the frequently asked
Oh,
questions.
sure.
So, and the parade has been around so long that there
Mhm.
really weren't too many, goofy ones that we
Mhm.
hadn't heard before.
Right.
So that helped a lot and allowed us to then focus on the block party, which then, we added the run. We brought the Stampede Run back, which had been dormant for 20 years.
And what's the Stampede Run?
Stampede Run, when we first started, it was a 5K, and then we added a 1K event. And they used to do it years ago, I believe down by the rodeo grounds. And there was an incident and I believe a death. And after that, somebody had overheated, had some heart issues that they weren't aware of.
That'll do it.
Yeah. And so that run went away. And
Oh.
so we brought that back with the first year of our block party as well and kept the same name. Changed the logo up a little bit, freshened it up, but same idea, just a little bit of history that we wanted to bring forward with it. So after that parade with the fifth quarter, we had we brought Bucky Badger up.
Yes.
The community was totally enthralled. We
Get
asked
your picture
people,
taken with Bucky.
right? Had people lining the street in their red and whites, and
Oh, nice.
they were very excited. And it was at a time too when our community was kind of having a tough time within our school district. And to me, that was a unifying moment to be able to say, let's focus on who we are
Sure.
and what we're about.
Sure.
And, I mean, the alumni band, I think, was the start to some of that, because we're bringing in everybody from every which way, just remembering, what the small town of Spooner is and what we can do.
Before we go into more of the block party, I've got to know, how do you do it? You run a business. You're in charge of a 110 unit parade. Now, huge block party that's getting bigger and bigger and bigger every year. Do you sleep?
Between 11 and 2.
Right.
Every other Thursday.
Right. Honestly, the best part and is having somebody that can help me. And again, I'm going to plug Amy Freeman to say that she's my office manager. We're together all the time. We are both multitaskers.
Good.
So
good.
As I am treating and thinking and doing for my patients, my brain is also thinking and doing and being creative with other things too, that she can handle and reach out and be able to email or phone call or what have you, so that we can keep things rolling.
I hope you pay her very well.
That's right.
You're welcome, Amy.
Yes. The other thing is, as you know, with anything, you just surround yourself with the right people. And
right.
To
you can.
Right. And to go back to the piece with family, I've got family. My grandmother was a nestie, and I've got family in the music business out of Nashville. Ooh. And they're talent buyers in Nashville, and they have a cabin in Springbrook, and they're always here for the rodeo parade. So as they started to see things develop with the block party and just with the Badger Band alone and just the feel of it, they said, Amy, you've got the perfect platform to bring some bands in. Why don't we give it a try?
Sure.
So not only do, we have great people in the community, but I've got extensions of that with family that are in the business and have done festivals and owned festivals throughout North America. And I can bounce ideas off of, and they can tell me kind of what to do or suggest that.
This is important. Hometown is great, but it's those professionals. It's those people from out of this area that bring other people in. It's somebody new.
Absolutely.
Tell us, the block party. When does it run? How long does it run? What are the dates?
Well, this year it's July 12th and 13th.
Okay.
It's a Friday night, Saturday night. So we have yet to repeat ourselves, meaning we keep adding new things.
Yeah, you do.
So this is the first year of having 2 nights of music. Last year was our first year of having 1 night of music. So it kind of developed from an afternoon piece after the parade to keep people in town after the parade. The rumblings I'd been hearing was, we have 5,000 people coming into town.
Yes.
What do we do to keep them here?
Yes.
And so that was sort of the idea behind the block party, is let's give them something to do, keep people downtown shopping, eating, etc., spending some money, wanting to come back. Last year, we brought in a Nashville act and a couple other music acts that went over very well. And it allowed us each year, we've been able to grow and have something greater that we can add. So this year, we're bringing in a bigger stage. We're bringing in bigger acts. Little Texas is our headliner for Friday night, which is a pretty big deal. They've been around for a long time. They still put on a really great show.
Good.
Brandon Lay is our middle act. He opened for Kenny Chesney last year and toured with him.
That's got to be a draw.
Yeah, he's got a few great songs on the radio. But he's going to be our middle act, and he'll also be doing an acoustic show for our upper level sponsors. And then what we're calling our local act is a gentleman by the name of Hugh Masterson, who's originally from Butternut, Wisconsin.
Oh.
So we're drawing from a homeboy from up north, and that crowd up there is really excited.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So we're trying to spread the word. We've got banners and posters and et cetera, further marketing as far down as Hudson, Eau Claire, up to Superior, Ashland, Minocqua.
Why not?
And trying to just stimulate as much growth for the area. The rodeo brings in a ton of people. We want to as well. It's just good for the community.
So the rodeo is Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. They've eliminated the Sunday, which I thought was brilliant. So you are not Thursday,
Friday, Saturday.
But you are Friday and Saturday.
Friday night, Saturday all day into the evening. Yep.
Okay. What is night?
The gates are going to open at 4:30. Our live music starts on the stage on Friday night at 6:00.
Okay.
And it will be done. There's 3 acts, and our last act, headliner act, goes on at 9. They'll be done at 10:30. On Saturday, we start our day with the Stampede runs, the 1K, 5K, and we've added a 10K run as well. Sake Bloody Mary bar, pancake breakfast. We also this year brought in, with Ace Hardware, the National Steak Cook-Off Association.
Yes. What is that?
Well, it's kind of what it sounds
I
like.
hope it's exactly what it sounds
Yeah.
like.
Steak.
It is a steak cook-off. It is a national
Somehow
event.
rodeo steak.
Yeah.
It just works.
Yeah. So Mike Lehman from Ace Hardware, I was talking with him about being a part of the event, and he said, I'd really like to bring the steak cook-off in. I said, well, I've got the perfect spot for you. But, the rules and regulations, they are national rules. So we are working with that national organization. We will have the SCA, the State Cook-Off judges coming in. So immediately upon the runners being done, the awards being done, these State Cook-Off competitors come set up. And they told us to anticipate 30 to 35 teams the first year.
So they pick who's coming? Do you have any control over that? Or
It's whomever. There's just a registration fee. SCA they send out emails. So the people that are SCA members will be notified of the event.
Okay.
But then locally, we're trying to promote the event as well. So we start to get some local teams.
That's what I was hoping. I mean, is there people around here that can... Yeah, totally getting a team together.
Yes. And there's, the prize money, I think for the grand prize, $1,000. So, yeah. So, and they decided to do, it's ribeyes. They decided to do the steaks and then also an appetizer competition too. So they'll be kind of going on at the same time, but while the steaks are doing whatever people choose to have them do, as far as, if they're marinating or if they have the dry rub on or whatever they're doing, they can be doing an appetizer also.
And where do people find more information about that?
Right.
Well, our website is where we're putting all of the information that will link to each of the events, which is spoonerrodeoparade.com.
Okay.
So all of the events that we are doing will be listed basically in order with a schedule. We also have created a number of events on Facebook on our Spooner Rodeo Parade Block Party page. There's separate events for the steak cook-off. So, and if you really want to get detailed, there are direct links that go to the SCA. There are a lot of rules. I mean, it's absolutely followed to a T.
That could be a deal breaker.
What I want to know is, do people get to taste this, or is it just a tasting panel and this guy won? Yeah, the judges.
I
mean, how could you smell steak for what? An hour and not be able to have any?
Yeah. You know what? I honestly would have to look it up under the 26 pages of rules for how that is.
Well, between 11 and 2, you have sleep time.
right.
You don't need to sleep. Now, this is a admission charge block party.
Yes.
How much?
It's a 2-day ticket. So for 2 days, a general admission pass for an adult is $15. We will have other activities within that are free. We have some. We're doing some life-size yard games to keep people occupied. But it is a 2-day $15 ticket for general admission. There also is a VIP area this year, which is new, and we have partnered with Roundman Brewing Company with that. That is $50 for a 2-day ticket. That will include free appetizers from Roundman, and Roundman beers will be served in that area.
Okay, is this $15 regardless of the age of the person? So kids also pay?
They pay extra.
They pay extra, yeah, right. How old are you, Sonny?
Yes.
8? Oh, good.
Kids 7 to 17 are $7.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And it's a 2-day pass.
It's a 2-day pass.
Now, where are these tickets available?
They are available online on our website.
Oh, of course.
Okay. And then also at some local businesses, Schmitz's Economarts, Roundman Brewing Company, The Dot Coffee, Shell Lake State Bank, and Greenfield Physical Therapy.
Okay, give Amy something else to do.
Yes,
You're
yes.
a good woman.
I know.
Now, $15 is the advanced ticket price?
Yes, prices will go up on July 1st until the event. So after July 1st, it is $20.
Okay.
And the VIPs will go up to $65.
So it pays people to do it
just
soon.
in advance, right?
Okay.
Anybody that is involved with the steak cook-off, or we also have a beanbag tournament, which is in the afternoon after the parade, or that is in the run, will get a discount on their admission ticket, though, into the block party.
Nice.
Yes.
And anybody wanting to participate in the run also goes online, registers, and is there a charge for that?
There is a charge for that. I would have to look and see what pricing is, but it's all listed.
We'll look it up.
We've developed a committee for everything, so I have a run committee that they take care of all those pieces. So I don't recall all of the particulars.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Well, it is smart because otherwise you can't hold all this stuff in your head, and to find good people to delegate.
Yeah.
That's what it all is.
Exactly. So as we sit in our, this seriously takes a year to plan. So at the day of the event, I mean, I'm taking notes in the following week, typing them up, and we're calling for a meeting immediately to go through what worked, what didn't, what we're going to change, what we're going to improve.
Postmortem.
Exactly.
Very important.
And then start to plan for the next year. So, and then I started recruiting more people that are community leaders.
Sure.
And, are reliable. You can count on them to show up and do their job.
Yes.
And that's the big piece.
That's right.
And everybody's been great. So it's fun to look at our committee meetings and see that we went from 5 people to 10 to now 25 plus. And we've been able to add additional pieces with it. Our sponsors still are what carry this event. So we've been able to, with bringing in larger bands as well as bringing in additional activities, we have something pretty great to be able to market to our sponsors.
Good.
We've partnered largely this is our 3rd year now, with St. Croix Casinos. Link Ford and RV have been a big player for us. This year, the Army National Guard is also doing a lot for us. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Yeah. So we've got some fun things planned with them and they for us. But they've been a very vital part of what this year's event is going to be about.
A live firing range or?
Probably not.
Okay.
We couldn't get the city permits.
That's why kids get in cheap.
Right.
Okay, honey,
Yeah.
run.
Exactly.
Now, this is going to grow.
Yes.
And parking is going to be a nightmare eventually.
We already thought about it.
Okay,
Of
what's up?
course.
We are using the old parking or the old hospital parking lot and running a shuttle. Badger Buses is running a shuttle for us.
Oh.
Oh, brilliant.
That will be a continuum. Yeah, it's about a 4.5 block walk. So we will have signage for people that
Good.
need it.
Good.
But we do have a shuttle that will be running constantly. So yes.
Anything I haven't asked?
uh,
Go to the website. Go to the website. Go to the website.
Yes, the website does have all of the information and all of the
Okay.
times. We can be contacted via the website or Facebook. Certainly the clinic too,
Okay.
as far as any questions people have. But we're really looking forward to what this is going to bring further to the area. I don't even just say Spooner because, we're working with some businesses in Siren and in Hayward and in Shell Lake and Rice Lake. So, we're partnering when it comes to sponsors and supporters
Good.
all throughout the area. This isn't just Spooner.
And this is great because so many towns, especially little towns,
Mhm.
have a habit of going, this is ours,
Mhm.
and you can come,
Mm-hmm.
but we're not going to let you in to be a part of.
Right.
So I think this is brilliant. Thank you.
Well,
Don't
thank
forget,
you.
go to the website. What is it again?
www.spoonerrodeoparade.com.
There you go. All the information you need. Next week, we are going to have Andy Ike on, who is the Shell Lake City Administrator. There are so many things going on in Shell Lake. It is absolutely unbelievable. You're not going to recognize that town within a couple of years. So even though this isn't a cooking show, we recommend you keep it cooking. Thank you.
Thank you.